Hello and welcome to my drone video channel. This video is on Camp Beaumont, a Boy Scout camp located about 7 miles south on Route 45 from Interstate 90 in Ohio. 50 some years ago I was a Boy Scout, and I used to come out here probably 4, 5, 6 times, and I've driven by here many times and always wondered, what the place was like. And I took advantage of the week before they really opened to come out here and shoot a little video, and so we took off from the Neshkin Amphitheater area. It's a area where they hold councils for the visiting scouts, and we came to the lake here area. This is called Klein Lake, which is due to be expanded quite a bit, actually. I believe on the other side of the lake, but you see right in front of us there a teepee-like structure that is missing the outer covering. I guess it would be covered with skins by Indians. This area that we're coming up now is pretty much the area where they have all of the boating activities, water activities, and they have a variety of different kinds of flotation devices. They've got small sail crafts. You can see some of the sails out there. You'll see them better later on. They got some long fiberglass canoes, some shorter ones. They got some regular rowboats, something pretty much for every skill level and age level, because this camp does service not only Boy Scouts but Cub Scouts, Webelos, and they even have a section of the camp that's for just regular plain visitors, so that want to camp here. So again, this is called Klein Lake. It's about 1,800 feet long and about 365 feet wide at the widest point, but it's going to be expanded to be much wider than that. And back over 50 years ago, when I was a Boy Scout and coming out here, they didn't, they've got actually have lodges or cabins or whatever you want to call them out here now. But we strictly pitched tents in a primitive area and had to pump our own well water and so on. So what we're doing now is we're flying up on the landing pad of a zip line. They they certainly didn't have zip lines back when I was in scouting, and but one thing I had to pay attention to was these zip lines coming in here, and I had to plan my shoot to either fly above them or below them. But this is the landing spot for the zip line, which they call the Sizzler, and they have 2 lines there. It actually comes down quite low across the lake, and we're flying right now. We're flying above it, and you can see where it goes out to across the lake. And as I said, it comes quite close to the lake itself. I imagine if someone of substantial weight was to get on there, the line sag would allow them to probably get a dip in the lake as they were traversing the zip line. So we decided what we would do is go out here a little bit further to where the line is a little bit higher, and then fly underneath it in order to stay low and close to the lake itself, and let you see how nice the lake is. The lake is, there wasn't much, if any, wind on this day when I visited, and you can see that the lake is very calm. Matter of fact, while I was shooting, I saw several times fish jumping up, so I imagine that there are fish inside this lake. As I said, they've made a lot of improvements to the camp and changed things a lot over the 50 years that I haven't been here. Not only do they have lodges and cabins, but they have all you know, a lot more activities set up than I had. We had, you know, marksmanship and archery for merit badges, but they also have a shotgun area now, which they didn't have, and they've got other things that are of interest to scouts now. And you know, it takes a lot to try and pry youngsters away from their cell phones these days, so they try to expand the number of activities. So you see a little platform there on the right hand side, and I looked on the map that I was given by Administrator Linda. When I first came in, I stopped at the administration building and checked in with them, and talked to a gal named Linda there, and she filled me in on a lot of the things that are going on here at the camp, since I haven't been here in over 50 years. We're coming up, and there's a building there on the left-hand side, which is it's an environmental resource center. I guess it's, you know, for teaching environmental programs. The pole that you see standing there is actually a windmill or a wind turbine generator that, you know, generates electricity, and I guess they learn a lot of alternative methods of generating power and things like that inside there. There across, you know, when we were at the edge there, you could also see in the background, if you want to go back, you can see the administration and training buildings that they have in the background. So we're just doing a slow turn here to head back towards the other end of the lake, and you can see, you know, we're almost looking at the full 1,800 foot of the lake here, and it's not very deep. I don't think it's probably more than 10 feet deep at the deepest point, but you know, they're going to, as I said, they're going to make it wider. I believe on the left-hand side of the screen is where they're going to widen it to go back to where there are some cabins or lodges. I guess they call them troop lodges, and that'll be especially nice for them to get up in the morning and be able to just walk down to the lake, I suppose. There's always, you know, there's a lot of different shelters for different things here, but I stopped for a second. I wanted to take another quick look at this platform, and the only thing I could think of that it would be for would possibly be for fishing, because it would be an ideal spot there just to sit there and cast a line out, and you can see a bench there, and they've got railings around it, so people, you know, could stand on there without worrying about going over the edge and falling in. And now we're going to head a little bit further down the lake and show another interest point, and we'll continue down here. And on the right hand side of your screen, you're going to see coming up the beginning of the zip line, the Sizzler zip line, and it's you see a winding staircase of stairs going up. You can see the wire backstays that are supporting the poles that hold the zip lines, and then of course, you know, you saw where the zip lines run to. So they run, you know, probably, since this is about halfway, you know, close to 1,000 feet of zip line. There's you can see the winding staircase going up to the top up there, and then the zip lines go back to that spot where we were at before. And the shoreline is irregular, and the water is fairly shallow along the edges, to where I mean, it's probably only ankle or knee deep along the sideline. But we're coming back up on the Neshkin Amphitheater, and this is an area where they could probably put, I would say, probably like 300 scouts, you know, youngsters, on these benches. You'll see up on those poles they've got lights and speakers, and so they're able to put on performances or have general camp meetings and give out information to the scouts. Here they've got a fire pit that you can see right over there, and they've already stacked wood for a potential bonfire. And they had this interesting totem pole, or it's a marker of some sort. Not exactly sure what the symbols or emblems mean since I've been out of scouting. I mean, I still remember the Scout Oath and the Scout Law and the Scout Motto and all that stuff that was drilled into me over 50 years ago. But as I said, in over 50 years there have been some changes. But one thing I do know for sure is that I was a first class fire starter when I was in the Boy Scouts. I think it was part of my second class. And here we're doing a pan shot of the amphitheater just to give you an idea of how big it is and how many kids could fit there. But part of a second class Scouts curriculum is to be able to start a cooking fire. And when I had to do that, you're only allowed 2 matches to start the fire. And my first match blew out with the wind, so I actually only had 1 match, but I was able to successfully start my cooking fire. You see me down there looking at the screen on my Phantom 3 here as we're going to proceed back towards the area where the boats are. And you'll see as we swing around, there's not only a boathouse there, but there's some other buildings in the background, which we will get to in a while. But some of those they're like the Guerrero Arts Center. There's a handicraft and model building. They have different buildings and things for other people. But we stopped here and we decided we're going to do a flyover shoot of this teepee, go right over the tops of it, and I thought that would be an interesting shot. And now we're going to drop the gimbal down so we can get a little bit better view of these various canoes and boats and whatnot that they have here. You'll see that they have the long ones in the front. Those are I believe those are fiberglass canoes, and they probably can hold at least 3 people, I would imagine. They're fairly long. Also laid out on the bank, you can see sails for these little, I don't know if they're sunfish sailboats, but those are right in front of us. And they're just one seat, 1 or 2 seat little sailboats that you can sail along. There's regular rowboats and stacked up regular canoes. I'm sure most of these canoes have flotation inside them, so that if they're rolled over, that the canoeists don't have to worry about anything. And I'm sure that even back in my day, they made us wear life jackets when we were doing this. We're heading kind of back here at a little high speed and make a high speed run over the lake just for a little bit of fun. And then we're going to back in to the place where we took off from, landed, and then proceed to another section of the park or the campgrounds, just to give you another shot of it. Here we're landing. Here we landed. We didn't even bring out a pad. We just landed on the mud here. So here are the Boy Scout oath, and for those of you who were never in the Scouts, it says "on my honor," and on the next signpost it says "I will do my best." And as you follow along with me on the next post, it says "to do my duty." And we're coming up on the next one: "to God and my country." There you see that. And then and to obey the Scout law. Scout law is Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I got them all in to help other people at all times. And to keep myself. And here comes the last three things. Physically strong, and here's mentally awake, and the last one is, which we'll see, is we're underneath some trees here. That's why it's gotten a little bit darker, and it was a cloudy day, and morally straight. So that's the Scout oath, and I got the Scout law in there in addition to that. And of course, you know, the Scout's motto is to be prepared. So we're going to turn around here, and now we're going to go to another section. The camp is actually staffed mostly by volunteers who come out here. There was a lot of volunteers out here this day. They were getting things in shape for the start of the camping season, and there was a guy cutting grass. What we're looking at right in front of us, right in front of you, is a place called Beaumont. You've heard of Walmart? Well, this camp is Beaumont, so they call this Beaumont, and it's filled with all the things, the contraband stuff that kids are not supposed to be bringing to camp with them. You know, candy bars, candy, potato chips, pop, stuff like that they're not supposed to have. So the idea is they come into this store, get all sugared up, and then go back and drive their camp counselors crazy, I suppose. But we even had one of these stores over 50 years ago when I was into Scouts. I think that building in front of us, which we're going to go up to now, is like a handicraft and model building, and you'll see most of the buildings here have the metal slat roofing, which is very good for being low maintenance and lasting a long time. There you see a guy that's cutting the grass. He's a volunteer. As a matter of fact, he stopped his grass cutting and came over to me while I was shooting the lake video, and it turns out that he also flies UAVs or drones. He has a Phantom 4 and was trying to shoot a place where they're doing some maple syrup runs, and he crashed it the week before this. So this is I believe is called the Honor Lodge, and this totem in front of it has got various, I don't know if you would call them icons or whatever, that are inscribed or painted onto it. Not sure what they stand for, but I thought it was interesting, and I was going to do a flyaway shot here just to add a little interest, and I didn't use any of those modes. This is all manual flying that we're doing here, and I'll do a little flyaway shot here, which always gives a little extra interest. So anyways, I'm glad I stopped. My curiosity is still there about the place. Maybe get a chance to come back here and get some more video one day and show you a little bit more. But if you like this, leave a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. Come back again. We always try to get a new video up once a week, and hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for stopping by, and come back again soon.